In our fifth example of division of polynomials, another synthetic division example, we're to find the quotient and remainder by using synthetic division for the problem we see here. X cubed minus 2x squared plus 4x plus 1 divided by x plus 2. So once again we prepare our work area. We write our upside down long division symbol, and we write the coefficients only of the dividend, making sure to include 0 as the coefficient for any missing term, and of course making sure that we have our dividend in order before we write down the coefficients. So we do have x to the third, x to the second, x to the first, constant term. Everything appears correctly. So coefficient of x cubed is 1. Coefficient of x squared is negative 2. Coefficient of x is 4. And finally our constant term of 1. Remember, in this position we put our synthetic divisor. And remember, the synthetic divisor is the number in the divisor that we're subtracting from x. This is what we discussed a moment ago. We don't see a subtraction, x plus 2, we don't see a subtraction, so we have to realize or manufacture a situation where we are saying subtract a number that gives us plus 2. And of course that's the situation in this case. If we subtract a negative 2, we have the same thing as x plus 2. So this is the a that we discussed previously, or in our example, it's called our synthetic divisor. So for x plus 2, our synthetic divisor is negative 2. Now we're ready to begin. We draw this additional line. We bring our 1 clear to the bottom row. We say negative 2 times positive 1. That creates negative 2. We put that in the next column in the middle row. Now we add the top two rows. Negative 2 plus negative 2 is negative 4. Now we have a new number on the bottom row. Take our synthetic divisor, negative 2, multiply with negative 4, we get positive 8. Now we add the 4 and the 8 that we see in the first row and second row, we get a positive 12. Okay, new number in the bottom row, take our synthetic divisor, negative 2, multiply with positive 12, we get negative 24. And then of course we add the top two rows. 1 plus negative 24 is negative 23. Now remember, this is the remainder. And also remember that these numbers are the coefficient of the quotient. So we're prepared to write our answer. The quotient we can think of writing this quotient down in two fashions. Remember that the quotient degree will be 1 degree less than the dividend. This is similar to the last problem. The dividend has a degree of 3. So the degree of the quotient will be 2. In other words, it starts with x squared. And this being 1, we know it starts with 1x squared. And then this would be minus 4x and then plus 12. Now, of course, if we ended up with a 0 in this bottom row in one of these positions, then we would have a corresponding missing term in the quotient. The other way to think, if we forget that this is 1 degree less than our dividend, is we can think that here, of course, is the remainder, the negative 23, and this becomes the constant term of the quotient. So this would be the first degree coefficient and the second degree coefficient. But nevertheless, we start with x squared, 1x squared, so we'll write simply x squared. Coefficient of the next term is negative 4, so that's minus 4x. And finally, our constant, in this case, plus 12. Now, Remember, very simply, we can write a remainder as that negative 23 that we always find in the last position of that last row. So in this example, our remainder is negative 23. And we remember how to check. If we thought we needed to check, that we would say, oh, let's check this. What do? We take our divisor, x plus 2. We multiply it with our quotient, x squared minus 4x plus 12. And we add in the remainder, negative 23. And I won't do this for you, but the result we should get, remember, better be our original dividend. So when we multiply these and add in the negative 23, we should get a result of x cubed minus 2x squared plus 4x plus 1. If that's not what we get, we've either misinterpreted or done our calculations incorrectly. I hope this has been useful to you. Remember, you can rewind any of these and pause, rewind, pause, look at them again, try them in a slower mode. Thank you.